Me when I'm in a beating a dead horse competition and my opponent is Lucky Inkyo. I've talked about AI OCs on my channel many times, and I've talked about My Hero Academia OCs on my channel multiple times as well. I even mentioned in my My Hero Academia OCs video that AI MHA OCs, lots of acronyms here, that AI MHA characters were a rampant problem, particularly on Pinterest. In the few months since I made that video, however, this problem seems to have exploded. There are so many upsettingly convincing pieces on Pinterest that look like they were made by talented artists at first glance, only to fall apart under increasingly intense scrutiny. Some of these are incredibly well composed and interesting to look at, a stark contrast to how these OCs looked a few months ago, which is just so disturbing. I want to see art like this. I want to know the artists that the AI scraped from to make these. I know that the author and artist for My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi, is likely a victim of this art theft by these algorithms, but there must be hundreds, if not thousands, of artists that have had their work fed into these to make these pieces. My good friend Mari Octo Inks recently made a video taking some MHA AI slop OCs and turning them into actual characters, going into the aspects of their design that the AI just cannot capture correctly and what actually makes an interesting and accurate OC. I highly recommend that you check out her video after this. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I won't be redesigning any of these OCs. Instead, I'll be talking about my ongoing frustrations with this infestation of my Pinterest feed, my journey with creating My Hero Academia OCs, and how easy it is to make an OC of your own without resorting to these unethical means. This video is very kindly sponsored by Idol Slayer. Recently, I have not had much time for video games. I am extremely busy with university and YouTube, and I assume that a lot of you are very busy with projects of your own as well. But Idol Slayer is a game that requires as little or as much time as you have available. In Idol Slayer, you play as an adventurer racking up coins by upgrading your gear and slaying monsters, but you don't even have to be there while you do it. Once you equip your Slayer with as much gear as you can afford, you can set your phone down to go do your homework, and you'll come back with even more rewards to use to upgrade your gear. When you do have time to sit down and grind, you can complete quests, battle bosses, play mini games, and even encounter secret cutscenes. The game has this incredibly endearing and appealing 8-bit art style that makes me feel like I'm a child in the 2010s playing this on my DS, but with the convenience of it being on the device I already carry with me everywhere. Plus, with cross-platform syncing, once I get home, I can pull it up on my computer to continue the adventure while I keep insisting that I'm really about to start my homework, guys, trust. The game starts simple, but it quickly turns into a full adventure with over 600 achievements and 200 quests. So for all my completionists out there, you're about to be in for the time of your life. Idol Slayer is made by a solo indie developer, and you know I love supporting indie teams, and the best part is that Idol Slayer is completely free on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, and it currently has over 10 million downloads. So if you want to check out a low-effort, high-reward adventure game by an independent developer available in 27 different languages, make sure to check out Idol Slayer today by clicking the link in the description. Thank you so much to Idol Slayer for sponsoring this video and for supporting the channel. In terms of My Hero OCs, I've had more than I can count. Most of them do not make any sense and can hardly be called My Hero Academia characters. But the three notable My Hero OCs of mine that I think are worth comparing are Akuroi Suki, Mitsuo Akari, aka Cure Comet, and Yuki Toyagi. Lots of these AI slop OCs are conventionally attractive girls with no physical indication of what their quirk might be other than the color of their hair, maybe some markings, and a generic hero suit if we're lucky. All of these also happen to describe my first My Hero Academia self-insert OC from 2019, Akuroi Suki. I didn't even need AI to make one of these, I was just that unoriginal. I talked about Suki in my redesigning my old self-insert OCs video about a year ago, but I don't think I really conveyed just how stereotypical and uncannily similar to these mass-produced AI-generated OCs she is. She is described as extremely beautiful, with the only effect of her quirk on her body being some markings on her skin and in her hair, and Midoriya, Todoroki, Bakugo, Kaminari, Ida, and Kirishima are all in love with her. But Bakugo and Midoriya are her childhood best friends, and Bakugo, Midoriya, and Todoroki are her main love interests. And she and Bakugo have a friends to rivals to lovers arc going on that I never finished, obviously. Now, this sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Of course it does. It's the story of every single My Hero OC that's ever been made and posted on Pinterest. I didn't have to search for more than 15 seconds before I found an AI-generated OC on Pinterest that matches Suki's description almost exactly. That is Suki. Obviously, the appeal of My Hero Academia is that everyone is different and there's absolutely no limit on the type of people that can exist in this world. Orca, Invisible, Lego Brick, Godzilla, or literally just a beautiful woman. You can be whoever you want to be. And 14-year-old me wanted to be this. The beauty of My Hero OCs and My Hero Academia in general is just how creative you can get with the character designs, something that the AI is unable to do. All of these are just generic girls in the My Hero art style, nothing actually symbolizing who they are or what they do. Like, look at her. What do you think her personality is? And now look at her. What do you think her personality is? None? Yeah, that's what I thought. Even though Suki is rough, she still had more love and intention and thought behind her than all of these OCs combined, even if the AI art is more aesthetically appealing. And aesthetically is in quotation marks. And to demonstrate this, I decided that I would take this AI art and redraw it as my own My Hero OC. Not the character itself, but taking inspiration from the composition to make my own piece, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean in a second, don't worry. At first glance, I really thought that this piece was real. I thought it was some fan art made by an artist that had studied Horikoshi's art style and had gotten it down to a T. And it was really convincing at first until I started to look at it a little bit more. And I realized with horror that it was in fact not made by a human. And there are little things about it that, yeah, under heavy scrutiny do give it away as AI. At first glance, it was very convincing, which has not been true of a lot of AI art up until recently. And I was really conflicted because I like how this picture looks. I like the composition, I like the staging, I like how it kind of looks like a magazine cover. I like how it's also a very good reference of this OC showing her full body as well as a bunch of different face shots. And that's really disappointing because this wasn't made by an artist. I can't message somebody and ask what their process was for creating this piece. I can't ask them the story behind their OC and what inspired all of these individual drawings because it was made by an algorithm. If you do happen to know any artists that have made pieces similar like this that may have unfortunately had their work scraped by this AI to make this piece, please tag them down in the comments. I would love to follow some more My Hero Academia OC creators, but this is not one of them, clearly. That being said, I want to take the things that I like about this image, the staging, the composition, the visual interest, and turn it into an actual piece of art, not made by a computer. It won't be an exact one-to-one replica. I will be, of course, adding my own spin on it, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes art art. But I won't be drawing Suki in this image. I will be drawing the next self-insert that I made for My Hero Academia. After I grew out of Suki and her strange, generic love hexagon she's got going on, I created the first version of Lucky. Even though they both have blue hair and blue eyes, they are not different versions of the same character, they are two separate OCs. This was a thing I did a lot in middle and high school. I would want to make new self-insert OCs, but I didn't want to change my existing characters, so I would have a bunch of different characters that were all supposed to be me, but in different flavors. Sometimes these characters would even exist in the same universe and interact with each other. Anyways, this is the first iteration of my main My Hero Academia OC and the self-insert that would evolve into my current design that I'm drawing here. Lucky was rough. I can't decide if Lucky or Suki is more embarrassing. Lucky originally started as part of Class 1A, then I did this weird thing where I made UA a university so Lucky could be 18 and date All Might but still be in Class 1A, and then they became a teacher and an actual adult like they probably should have always been. Ugh. Even as a young and kind of cringe artist in the early 2020s, I still believe my art from back then has more value than any of these AI-generated OCs. Each of these pieces has a story, no matter how strange. Plus, even though the original drawings may look rough, you can see me improve with every single piece that I made. Every single little change I made to Lucky's design was conscious and important and intentional, while any changes made by an AI are just design inconsistencies with no thought or meaning or purpose. Every bad picture I drew of my OC brought me closer to the skill level I'm at now. And now, visually, Lucky has changed a lot less than some of my other OCs have, but you can still see that intention and love and purpose in every change I've made to their design. And it culminated in a piece that may not technically be as advanced or well composed as the AIs, but I'd say that it means a whole lot more. Because this piece is made up of several different drawings, each of them has a story and intent behind it, and I can articulate exactly what I was thinking when I drew it. The way they're posed is intentional, all the expressions that they're making, every single color that I picked. Everything down to the brush that I used is intentional and tells a story. Maybe not tells a story, but everything has reasoning behind it. And so whether I was the most skilled artist on the planet or I had just started drawing yesterday, all of those factors are still important. The intention that I put into every single part of this piece is important. And that's just what AI bros and people who use AI casually to generate images just don't understand. It's not just the fact that it's unethical and scraping from artists across the internet and is terrible for the environment. The reason AI art isn't art is because it isn't intentional. It may have been intentionally generated, but not a single part of whatever image results from the generation is intentional. It was all made by an algorithm, and art is specifically a human thing. Art is not only meant to convey emotion, but it is also a medium for receiving emotion as well. By that I mean, art is not only supposed to make you feel something, but the art itself is a result of what the artist was feeling. And so even if a piece of AI art makes you feel something, no feelings were put into it. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's why all of these technically, aesthetically appealing My Hero Academia OCs are not worth your time or worth looking at. As well as AI art in general, but My Hero Academia OCs just happen to be the medium for which I wanted to convey this point. I just realized that I mentioned that I was going to talk about Yukito, which is another one of my My Hero Academia OCs, but I don't actually have much to say about him, so you just get to look at him. He's not really part of my point. If you want to make a My Hero OC or any OC or any art, there are so many other ways to do it rather than just feeding a thought into a computer and having it spit something out for you. I know that not having content for your OCs and having to draw all of it yourself can be really frustrating. And sometimes, even if you've already drawn an OC and designed it yourself, the itch can be there to feed it into an AI to spit out a My Hero Academia screenshot for you of your OC. But that is not the way. The devil is tempting you. Come back to the light with me as I introduce you to the world of tracing. I promise I'm going somewhere with this, you just have to trust me. Making fake screenshots by tracing existing ones is legitimately so fun, and it's so fast too. These are just a handful of the ones that I've made, and all of them took me maybe half an hour tops. I didn't have to put my OC design into a computer to make all of these. I drew them myself, and they were super fast and super easy, and I think they look pretty good. There are plenty of tutorials both on YouTube and on TikTok of all places on how to make a quote-unquote good screenshot edit, but come here. I'm gonna tell you a secret. It's tracing. You take a character that's already in the screenshot and you trace over it. And then you're done, and you have a fake screenshot of your OC. For what? For free. Legitimately, it's that easy. And smooth segue here, somebody else who knows a lot about fake screenshots for My Hero Academia is my good friend, Mari Octoinks. Here is her credentials. And as somebody who is also very knowledgeable on this topic, I felt it was only fair to let them share their thoughts as well. Roll the video. How about you start by introducing yourself, even though people probably know who you are because they probably watch my channel and you're on my channel all the time.
Hi everyone, I'm Mari Octoinks. You probably know me.
Yeah, what's your background with My Hero Academia? Tell us the lore.
I have been, in the fandom since 2020, maybe late 2019. Took a break for a bit, but now I'm back. And I like Ojo. I'm the Ojo girl. Everyone freaking knows me.
You were pretty big on TikTok in the My Hero Academia fandom, I feel like.
This is true. Back in the day, I kind of forget about that. I had a
Pushing
big
it out
following.
of your mind.
Yeah, but it was like half of my art. My art did well, but my skits did better.
Yeah.
I got a lot of hate though.
But yeah, so obviously this is a video about AI art, specifically My Hero Academia AI art, obviously, and you've done a video on that before. I'll ask you some questions about the design process for your video. How did you go about coming up with the designs and powers for all of your My Hero Academia OCs, like Connie and what's her name? Kamakiri,
Yes.
Sei
Say.
Kamakiri. How do you go about coming up with the designs and powers for all of your MHA OCs, including the AI ones?
So for the AI ones, I have like kind of a theme for my characters that I really enjoy, like taking an animal and using traits to like show their quirk. I think it's a fun way to how to like, integrate visual aspects into the quirk. Or if I want to do like non-animal OC, some of my OCs, I usually take an object and I base it around that. Like my Sona is kind of based off flowers and cherries.
What do you think makes up a convincing My Hero OC? One that fits in with the universe and seems like they could be a real character.
I think it's really important to not make your character really overpowered. I know it's really tempting to make your character like flawless, right? But you want to think about like how their quirk works in the universe. So like, my self-insert, their quirk is plant manipulation in a way, but also they can summon plants from their hands. If they were to fight, they wouldn't use summoning the plants because it takes up too much energy because they take in energy from the sun. And that causes them to get tired if they run out of energy.
Yeah, that's what I feel like people leave out a lot is drawbacks. Like, just in general with characters with magical powers, but especially in My Hero Academia, there's such an emphasis placed on it, especially in the first few seasons, that, like, Midoriya breaks his limbs, and Bakugo's hands hurt or something, and Ochako gets nauseous. Like, I feel like there's less of an emphasis on it as the students become more powerful, but especially in the first few seasons, which are arguably probably the most popular and synonymous with the show, people just leave out drawbacks for their power. If they don't have any drawbacks, then they're gonna seem overpowered and like a Mary Sue, which, guilty, might be me, but... I mean, this is about other people. This is not about me. We're not talking about me. My last question would be, what do you think links all of these AI slop OCs together? Why do they look like that? Why do they all, you can just kind of tell.
They're all typically women, and they're all typically like really cutesy, and I feel like they're not thinking about them as characters or as people or convincing or interesting characters at all. They're just more for the aesthetic purposes. Like, if you look at some of these designs, like, it's just pretty girl with long hair, and it's just like, what is her quirk? It doesn't tell you anything about her or like anything about like the character at all. It's just like, oh yeah, this is like someone drawn in the style of Horikoshi, and it's just like not very convincing because, no intent was really put behind it. So it's just kind of lifeless. And even if, like, the style's really good, you always feel like there's kind of a lack of something. And that's, like, a really big tip-off that it's AI.
Yeah, word for word, that's exactly what I wrote down. They are just designs, like, no personality, no character, literally just, visual. And that's not how characters are designed. They're designed with purpose and personality. That's why I think, AI character design will never be as good as even the most amateur artist, because at least there was intent behind it and there's visual storytelling and things that can be explained. But with the AI, there's no subtlety, there's nothing that can be discovered about these characters, because all they are just this PNG generated by whatever program was used, which
exactly,
it sucks, but I just I don't ever see it being a legitimate replacement for real people making art. Do you have anything else to say about AI My Hero OCs, or just OCs in general? Any advice you'd give to somebody wanting to make their own OC who's tempted to use AI? Why shouldn't they? Obviously, other than, the ethical concerns. If literally just the option was to create an image out of thin air or to draw it yourself, why is drawing it yourself a more appealing option? Holding the microphone up to you.
Yeah, I think that just anything that you're able to create is better than AI. Like, even if you think the AI is objectively better, it's really not, because it's just an amalgamation of other people's work and it's not yours. Where if you make something yourself, it doesn't matter what your art style is, it'll be yours, and it's like there's thought behind it, there's intent, and it's really powerful. And like, even if you don't want to draw it, you can do other things like paint over an existing screenshot, or you can use Gotcha Life or Pic Crew. You can do so many different options to create your OC that's ethical and also is more personalized to you.
What is your process for making a screenshot edit for your OC?
Well, you know, I usually just draw over Hagakure because she's not even there, so I usually just draw my OC over her. But sometimes, like, I'll draw over, like, Jiro or Ochako, just, like, someone who's in the picture that could kind of fit, like, my OC's frame, and then just, I warp the character to fit my body shape, and then I also change the face and add my hair, and so it's not really hard. You just need to, like, find a screenshot that would work for your character, and then just, like, put them into the scene.
Yeah.
And just study the surroundings, and just see if you can match the style enough for it to be convincing, but if it's not, that's fine, too.
Yeah, it definitely gets easier as you do more. Like, I remember my first few, oh my goodness, they were rough. I'll have to find them. They were rough, like, not even trying to emulate the art style. And I think it's mostly because I wasn't tracing over a character, because, I just felt like, oh my goodness, tracing bad. So I was just drawing my OC in the screenshot, which made it feel like a and Bumblebee type situation, rather than them actually looking like they belonged in the scene. But I feel like my recent ones, it's been a combination of drawing original parts of it, as well as tracing over photo bashing type thing, cutting off the limbs of the other characters to create the pose that I want. And I feel like my recent ones have been a lot better, and I feel like yours have always been really good. I'm really jealous of like the, oh my god, I know it's not My Hero, like, a specific screenshot, but the McDonald's one was so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness, I love them bad. Screenshot edits are such a good way to study the style and get something of your OC out of it, because then you have, a little screenshot of your OC that you can use to trick people and be like, oh my goodness, my OC's in the show. What? Oh my goodness.
Exactly. It's just so fun.
You can even do it for other shows too. Like, I've done one of my Ouran High School Host Club OCs. Once you start, you can't stop because they're easy to do and they look really good. It gets easier with time. It's not gonna look the greatest at first. Obviously, my first ones look like doo-doo garbage. But, like, over time, the moral of the story for all of these videos is you just gotta practice. You just gotta pick up a pencil. I'm sorry, it's the only way. It's the only way. But it's gonna feel so much more rewarding when you do.
Yeah, AI slop is always AI slop.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Emphasis on the slop. It's poop from the butt. AI stands for...
Actually icky. That's what it stands for.
Yeah. Actually icky!
Actually icky. Hopefully my answers weren't, like, too stuttery, because sometimes I'm just like,
Don't even worry about it. That's what editing's for. We'll make Naomi do it.
Hopefully I don't sound like an idiot.
Hi, Naomi. Hi, Naomi.
Hi, Pookie.
Voiceover Inkyo, back to you. Take him to the chorus. Thank you, Recording Lucky. I hope you could all understand what me and Mari were trying to convey. The TLDR is that even as AI art continues to get better, quote unquote, real art is always going to have more value even if it's not as aesthetically appealing technically. And aesthetic appeal is in the eye of the beholder anyway. I personally find it really endearing when you can see little human aspects in an artist's piece, like forgetting to erase a sketch line or using a certain brush in all of their pieces. Things that most people don't give a second thought, and the artist may not even give a second thought, but once you start to look deeper, it is just so meaningful. I don't really have any more to say about this. Every time I think I'm done talking about AI, something else happens. But I keep making these videos to try and remind people not to go to the dark side, not just using the AI, but letting yourself believe that this is a danger to your art and to your career and to your passion. Because even though it may look and feel that way, We as humans know the value of real human art, and it will prevail. That being said, let me know your thoughts. I love hearing what you guys have to say on things like this. I know issues like this are quite nuanced, and there's a lot of different sides and perspectives that somebody could have. So as long as you're not an AI glazer, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much to the people who will pay for me to build a gigantic laser to absolutely obliterate the headquarters of OpenAI. My $10 patrons: Puntastic Artist, Little Wolfine, Viyun, Zigobuzz, Wishing Star, Billy Lover, Neko Jack, Tyree West, Duran, Nico to the Stars, and Bumby Bumblebee. As well as all of my other patrons, all of my subscribers, everybody who watches this video, everybody who likes and comments. As always, I am Lucky Inkyo, and I will see you very soon.